It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
DJ and PK, it is time for the question of the day. Your hot takes. Is it hot takes or toast? Should the Jazz give a serious look at Cam Boozer? Consensus number 3 pick in the draft. Williams says, in my opinion, the Utah Jazz are going to pick whoever gives them the best chance to compete with Wemby, and that translates to shooters from deep. With Boozer's size and accuracy, I believe his stock has increased. On the other hand, the Jazz also need ball handlers, so it's going to be really interesting.
I agree with that. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think they can use whatever.
Brandon says the upside to Cam, he's also a pretty good ball handler, too. Not run the offense guy, but if he gets the ball 18 feet from the hoop, he can put it on the floor and get to the bucket.
Yeah.
I don't want him running the offense, but
that's like a pitcher being a good base runner.
It's bonus. It's good, but it's not really what I'm looking for.
Yeah. As long as when he bounces the ball that it comes back up to him.
That's all you really ask.
I'm good to go.
And he can do that through a little bit of traffic.
I would think so.
Yep.
I would think most guys could do that.
I think he can change direction. I think he can go with both hands. So
any perimeter, any guy who's capable of being on the perimeter can do it. Can do that.
Tavita says the Jazz should take a look at the best two-way player on offense and defense, a.k.a. A Cuff. He's going with your theory. He's at least partially buying into it.
Yeah,
trust a guy who's put a lot of guys into pros.
You're talking about Calipari there.
John Calipari recognizes a lot of talent. It's undeniable, his track record. He's now a veteran coach. He's not the kid who broke on the scene, and we saw so many guys go through.
6 years old, something like that?
Yeah. And we've seen so many guys who rolled through Kentucky the last 15 years or so while he was there. Just one guy after another. And some of them were really high picks. Some of them were maybe more middle first-round picks. And the one thing they had in common is when they got to the NBA, they looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah, high picks, middle picks, as you say. Tyrese Maxey, SGA.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker was a middle pick. Yeah. And it's funny because it's hard to really, really decipher to where with these kids coming out playing only 1 year of college ball, the game is advanced now, so 1 year of college ball doesn't mean what it meant 25, 30 years ago.
Fact. Agreed.
You are around gymnasiums and whatnot, and you see these kids at a much younger age, so it is a little misleading, but at the same time, you're going up against in these summer things, kids your own age. Well, in the NBA, there is no age. It doesn't matter. And you're going up against guys who are 6, 7 years, 8 years older than you and the grown men, as they say. And so there's still a fair amount of projection that goes into it. And that's what makes it so dang intriguing, which makes it fun. Because if it were so blatantly obvious, then anybody could do it. But not anybody can do it. And even the best can't do it all the time.
True story.
And so that's what just makes it so intriguing. And there's so much riding on it for teams. The Jazz, this is the crowning achievement of the 4-year rebuild, right? In terms of getting the draft selection at a time when you want the draft selection to be as high as possible. You always want it to be, but sometimes there's not the players there that have the potential to have the impact as these kids do. So this is imperative. You must score in the 90-plus percentile in terms of getting this right. You can't just get a B-minus guy, because there's a B-minus guy is fine in a lot of drafts because there's not A's ahead of you or taken after you. Here, we can pretty much almost guarantee, without actually guaranteeing it, which is an oxymoron, that there's going to be somebody drafted after 2 who's going to end up being an A player.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And if they had gotten unlucky in the lottery, and if they were drafting 6th or 7th, you couldn't say that with the same level of energy and put the same emphasis on it you did. But at 2, somebody's going to pay off.
Yeah, if not multiple.
Somebody's going to pay. But you can't draft everybody. As long as you get a guy who's an A,
all that
that's
matters.
great.
That
right.
is all that matters. If you get yourself an A, then whoever drafts whomever, good on them.
Right. And you've used this example before. Houston gets an A for drafting Akeem Olajuwon. They drafted a guy who won 2 NBA titles. Now, it turns out there was an A++ who got a perfect score on the SAT and, I don't know, got a Harvard Law and then went to Oxford or something, or Cambridge or wherever Pat Hayden went on that Rhodes Scholar. I don't know where you go. University of Rhodes? I don't know what you do. But you go overseas. I mean, there's like Jordan was
I would
so
have gone
off the
Bill
charts.
Bradley.
Oh, Bill Bradley. Where'd he go? He was a smart guy on the
Princeton.
Knicks. Princeton, okay.
Jersey,
baby. My bad.
Jersey, Rhodes
Should've known you
Scholar
weren't.
to the Knicks.
Okay, there you go.
But you know what they can do here? This is something that is a little bit of an add-on. And the reason why the Boozer thing is that all the more intriguing is because, as you say, he's pegged at number 3, right? And Memphis has the 3rd pick. And Memphis, what they need is A to Z and everything in between.
Yep.
Right? So they're just going to draft the best player that they think is available. And they may have a crush on Cam Boozer, right? And so maybe the Jazz like him, but they don't have that crush. And this is where my guy D.A. can come in and say Memphis really wants him. Okay. And we're all hung up on the Jazz moving up to get to Bonsa, and what are they going to give up to Washington? Well, let's step back a little bit, and they can be in a driver's seat. They're in a driver's seat with every other team outside of Washington. And Memphis feels like, man, we need a low post guy. When we were at our best, we had Zach Randolph going over his shoulder and putting the ball in the hoop. And so we want that power guy, and we love Boozer. Okay, what are you willing to give up for him? Because maybe they like Acuff. Maybe fill in the blank. Let's just use him as an example,
Okay.
right? And maybe they think, hey, this guy, he's somebody that we may think can be better than Darren Peterson. So they can get some assets.
Move back and get the guy they want and get some assets along the way.
And what is
we
Memphis desperate for?
We know Danny Ainge has done that before.
That's why I'm talking my guy D.A.
Yep.
And so that's something that is in play. We're so focused on them. What would they want to give up? And we've all, in our amateur analysis, have ruled out Ace Bailey, and I think the Jazz have too, from what I understand. And, okay, so maybe that's just not going to happen. But maybe they're over there thinking, hey, we still are dealing from a position of strength here, so we can get – let's just Acuff since the poster brought it up. We can get him – and he's just as good as, or he'll be even better in 2 or 3 or 4 years.
We believe the guy who's going to be an A is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then we can, and you want Boozer? Fine.
Right.
And we'll give you him, but you give us something back. Now, they've already made a deal with them, so they have some relationships. So maybe there's something there in a year or two. Or do you feel like from, and we're all fans here, and all these fans, we're just throwing stuff out. That's the essence of sports radio, is to discuss these things and have fun with it. And maybe you, Joe Jazz fan or Gina Jazz fan, is thinking, no, I don't want more draft picks because that pushes out. We got to wait. I'm tired of waiting. They're going to go all in. We get it. But, you got Bill Armstrong over here with the Mammoth saying our best team isn't here yet. But they got these guys and they're coming. Well, maybe they've already gone through the long rebuild. We didn't have to go through it. We only went through a year of them being in town, not being in the playoff. But the Jazz people, the Jazz fans are saying, no, I don't want more draft capital. Give me players who can help win now. And realizing, okay, we're not going to win the title in 26, 27, but how about 27, 28, and 28, 29? And I don't want to wait because if I get a draft pick for 2-3 years down the road, then I got to wait 2 or 3 more years before that kid is developed. And by that time, I'm in 2032. No, that might be somebody have that opinion too.
If you love podcasts, you already know how to fit great stories into your busy day. So why not do the same thing with books? Everand is an affordable audiobook and ebook subscription that goes wherever you go. Your commute, your workout, your grocery run. No rearranging your schedule, no carving out reading time. Just hit play. For a limited time, new members get 2 free books when they start a free trial. Go to everand.com/listen to claim yours. That's everand.com/listen.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Can they talk to the Bulls?
Yeah.
If they want to go to 4, maybe they want Caleb or Kev. And the Bulls are like, hey, we want our guy and we got to jump Memphis because Memphis is going to take our guy.
Yes.
When I heard those original stories, I read one about and the supposition was that, the Jazz aren't going to call Washington because then they'll have the leverage. Washington know how desperate they are. And then the Washington won't call the Jazz because then the Jazz will know they've got a little leverage on Washington. So there'll be a stare-off before they talk about trading the top pick. That was one writer's thing. And then the story came out pretty quickly, and it seemed like the Jazz called everybody.
Right.
And so you just right out of the gate, you're just like, hey, I do our due diligence. This is a sign of desperation. Like, we'll call in Washington, we'll call in Chicago, we'll call in Memphis, and let's see what it is as far as trading up or down and get the we're just doing our homework. There's no
I don't think there's a psychological game to be played there. Because fill in the blank team. It so happens to be the Jazz, and AJ has an unusual connection. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. We're never going to have this again. There's never going to be a player from Utah unless AJ in 40 years from now has a kid.
All these things have to line up. A kid who leaves where they're from to play a year of high school ball in Utah and then goes to a local school and holds on to the number one the whole time, and the Jazz are drafting right at the top. All these things happen. Even if it happened,
and the ownership
the Jazz
and GM and
our alumni,
CEO
are all alumni because it would have to be BYU.
Right. The Angels,
assuming Ryan Smith's
got back
owned
are
this
all
team
BYU
for a few
guys.
decades. He's young enough here.
Where did Jay-Z go? We ought to find out. See if there's any connection.
Honestly, shouldn't every team be playing that? Hey, I'm not. I'm just at my alma mater. Hey.
But I don't think they lose leverage by calling Washington because Washington wants to do what it's best for itself, obviously. And so the Jazz may present an offer that ends up being what the Washington management thinks. Yeah, this is in our best interest to do this.
So Justin Zanuck is a proud graduate of Northwestern.
Okay, well, I don't know any Northwestern guys in the NBA.
It's all going to change in the NIL era. They're going to have some billionaire Northwestern grad who conquered Chicago and is awash in cash. We'll start.
We've had NIL for years. How good has Northwestern been?
Well, it hasn't worked yet. That guy doesn't. He only has millions. He needs billions.
Okay,
he'll get there.
Yeah, Northwestern when they played here in the Delta Center, and the young kid was crying.
Yeah,
because they hadn't made.
Well, and they had
Julia
Louis-Dreyfus's son on the team.
It wasn't, and Doug Collins' son was
something like that. Yeah. By the way, Did you know that Justin Zanuck was initially a major in music opera before switching to economics?
I did. Yes, I did.
You did not. Stop it.
Don't doubt me. Oh!
Right now, Justin Zanuck is sorry that he ever studied music and put it in his Wikipedia.
I hope people were watching that on YouTube. Like, the performance was awesome.
Well, I've been to the opera, people.
Fell asleep, but you were there.
No.
We need to ask Jay-Z about this. How's your opera background?
Yeah.
Jay-Z will avoid us like the plague.
He and I, the two tenors.
He's got work to do. He doesn't need this kind of headache. And Jay-Z right now is like, I'm all ball, no BS. Put it on my tombstone.
I've got prospects to look at. Leave me alone.
That'd be about the answer I'd expect.
That's what's this is just so funky in this world because these guys, it's obsessing their brains right now. And then they've got to make sure that they get it right. Yeah. And they'll celebrate. They'll think they got it right. But the great thing about it, and one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, is when they make their public comments, they can't say, well, we had this guy much higher on our list. That they like to say. We're very fortunate he fell to us. No, you can't do that this time.
He fell all of one spot.
If AJ goes 1 and Darren goes 2, like, we didn't have that clown at number 1.
You always hear that. I wanted to hear the other one. This guy much lower. We figured out what the heck.
Whatever.
It would take a fly.
We didn't really think any of them are any good, so we picked the 27th guy on our list for the 12th pick.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then if it doesn't work, well, we don't feel as bad because we didn't have that. Our expectations are very high for him. You never would hear that. It's always, well, he had a much higher. Yeah. They can't say that this time. But they also have plenty of position of strength.
How so?
Because they can make a move. There's only one player. The draft be ballyhooed as a great draft since whenever. I'm not a draft freak.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Only one of those guys will be gone.
Right. And you're sitting here like, 3 of these guys are awesome. The 4th is very good. But really, 8 deep, you could still find an all-star, and you'll certainly find a starter. Yeah, there are going to be plenty of good players on the board when they pick.
Yeah.
As opposed to sitting there crossing your fingers hoping one guy falls to you because you think the rest of the guys can't really play.
And I also think, that's absolutely, I agree with that 100%. But you look at the teams that are at the top, right? What's the draft order? Do you know it by heart, or do you need to look it up? If you do, look it up.
Number 1, Washington.
Okay,
Number 2, Utah, Memphis, Chicago, and then I don't. Clippers.
Well,
the Clippers were 5 because Indiana fell, and the Clippers got their pick.
So
After
you
that,
can
I have to
argue
look.
maybe the Clippers, but the other teams they've been rebuilding, and they look like they're still in rebuild mode. The Jazz, they have the rare opportunity to not be in rebuild mode.
Yeah, I would say the teams that are pretty strong here in the top 10 are the Jazz, the Clippers, Brooklyn, Sacramento, maybe Atlanta at 8 if they hit. Are they pretty close? Or Dallas at 9 because they have Flag?
No, I think Dallas is in full rebuild mode.
Yeah, okay.
And I would be surprised if Kyrie Irving is still on the team. What do you need a 30-something Kyrie Irving for when your focal point is literally 20 years old?
Milwaukee, depending on whether they trade for the future or trade for a veteran?
Either way.
They're at 10.
I think either way.
The Warriors are 11, kind of, we've talked about that, just kind of hanging on to the end. Yeah, right. Oklahoma City at 12.
All right, OKC isn't.
So you're pretty far down at that point.
Right. And you probably wouldn't deal with them. The Jazz
are the team.
They're ready to win.
Yeah, they're the team most likely to take a big jump.
They're going to get a good pick, a great pick, and are ready to win. So they can deal a little bit more. They're not as desperate. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to go through a 4-year rebuild. Yeah. And so the other teams, they may feel a greater need to deal. And they may not think about the whatever pick down the line. So the Jazz have a lot of options, and it's not simply trading up to get DeBonsa. I mean, if they do, great. If they don't, I'm not going to sweat it. Although I'm certainly going to watch whatever DeBlanca. DeBlanca is going to be our new Michigan.
I was going to say he's our new Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to watch this kid wherever he goes.
It'll
We're going to look at
impossible.
every single box score. He's probably going to be on the television a fair amount. We're going to watch him.
There will be more Washington Wizards basketball watched in this state if he goes there.
We're all going to watch him, every single one of us, to see what he does. And the one thing I want to say well ahead of time, no matter who it is, let's not go crazy on a 19, 20-year-old in his first year. Let's not make, he's a bust or he's going to be a superstar. Let's give it at least 2 years. Can we at least do that? Because we all want to rush to judgment.
All right, fine.
But we'll make opinions. But if it doesn't work as well as we anticipate, no matter who it is, all of these guys, let's just slow the flow a little bit and give him some time. And really, I can say that most especially about the Jazz, because he doesn't figure, whoever it might be, to get a lot of FGAs right off the bat.
Coming up next, we have a post from Kyle, and Eric goes right at him. Eric posts quite a bit with an interesting take. We will get to that next. This is the debate. Do you trust the expert consensus? We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.